Hello, everybody, and welcome to Brooks Knows Baseball 30 Breakdowns in 30 Days. Today, we are finally on to the AL West division with probably the most competitive division, arguably the most competitive division, I think the most complete team in any division with the Houston Astros. And that's actually the first team that we're going to be starting with today. So we go ahead and take a look at the Houston Astros. They have been competitive in recent years. They made the playoffs in 2015, missed it in 2016, won the World Series, lost in the ALCS, lost the World Series, lost in the ALCS, lost the World Series, and they're the reigning World Series champs as of now. So every year since 2017, they've at least made the championship game, which is extremely impressive. Last year actually was the second most wins they've had, going back probably forever with 106 wins. They had 106 wins, only 56 losses with Dusty, Rusty Baker, and they're the cream of the crop. They set the example for the rest of the league to follow, and you can't really argue that with how successful they have been in the last decade. Really, it's getting pretty close to the last decade, and I don't see any signs of them slowing down, especially this upcoming season. So, without further ado, I will pass the mic to John, and then he can go ahead and give us his little breakdown.
Okay, well, little breakdown is correct with this team because basically the only arrival they have was Abreu from Chicago, a big right-handed hitter who's we'll get into a little bit later about his statistical data and what we think. But when you talk about arrivals, you got to talk about departures. And your major one is Justin Verlander. That's going to be tough to overcome regardless of how good their staff is. Vasquez, the catcher, who provided some offense because they have zero offense behind the plate. They lost Gurriel, who had an off year anyway. He ended up signing with Miami today or yesterday.
Yeah.
And they lost Mancini, who really didn't produce at all for them.
You're missing somebody big.
That left?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Your Mets pitcher?
You talking about Verlander?
From Virginia?
Pay attention, young fellow. Rewind, and I've already said that.
Oh,
yeah, okay. I know you young fellas, it's hard to keep your attention.
Sorry, I'm usually carrying the show. So.
Yeah, I'm carrying it again. All right. You want to go rotation, or you want to try to remember if Verlander's there or not?
Yeah, well, I'm seeing another. Michael Brantley is a re-signing as well, which I think is good.
If he
got hurt last year, but he hasn't had any falls. But another thing, I think probably won't hurt him this year. Yeah, potentially down the line is their general manager James Click is not back.
No, he's gone. He's in Toronto, I believe. No, he got fired. They fired most of the staff, which I find kind of funny. With obviously they do a good job, but I think it's Biggio and Reggie Jackson making a lot of decisions now. I heard with the owner, so that seems kind of odd.
Yeah. Well, they did replace him with Dana Brown, the former VP with the Braves. So they get rid of winners and replace them from winners. So with the fall off being it, the Braves are competitive, but they're not Astros competitive. Astros are World Series every year. The Braves, I think, are more division title every year competitive. Maybe one.
Yeah, and occasionally, like the year before last, win the World Series.
Yes. Right. I'm not saying I wouldn't take that for other teams.
Right.
But the Astros, they set this.
In the last, since the turn of the century, since 1991, they've won more divisions than any team in baseball, I would imagine. I don't know the number, but didn't they win like 16 in a row? But like you said, more divisions, but they've only won 2 World Series during that time.
Yeah, so it's, I think we'll talk about a couple of things here with their front office and everything like that. Maybe there are some leaner years coming up for them, who knows. But without further, maybe we'll see. Let's go straight into their pitching staff. We got the slim, skinny, and trim Framber Valdez, who's excellent. He's a top tier pitcher. It's just unbelievable, but he's definitely a top tier pitcher. He's their number one.
Led the league in innings last year, had 3 complete games, which, 40 years ago, that wouldn't be a big deal, but it is today.
Had a 2.8 ERA.
17-6 record. His whip was 116. So his ground ball rate is 67%. Ball don't go over the fence like that.
Yeah. Well, so with the number 2 guy had an even lower ERA with him. We'll go to Christian Javier, who pitched 148 innings at 25 starts, 30 appearances overall. But he had a 2.5 ERA, which is just unreal. His whip, was
point nine five. I know he was 11-9. He's got a good pitch mix. He's I was reading about him and studying him. Said he's effectively wild, which I think is a good thing on pitchers.
Yeah, there's a pitcher for the Indians a few years back. He had that weird haircut and glasses. He was pretty wild, but he was good. Then we'll go to their third pitcher, who has an even lower ERA, and Lance McCullers. Now, Lance only pitched in 8 games last year for a little less than 15. He had a 2.2 ERA, and when he's healthy, he's a top half pitcher as well in the entire league, not just the American League. And moving on past him, and
hold on
Luis
him.
Garcia.
You can't count on that guy at all. He's hurt now. He's not even throwing yet. Okay, so I don't know. He's got an elite spin rate curveball, and he his fastball is so, but he relies on that curve. He's got a muscle strain right now, so he said as of Wednesday he's not even throwing.
So yeah, but if he is healthy, he's still on the right side of 29 or 30, excuse me, and just go back another year and he started 28 games and had a 3.1. His career ERA is a 3.4. If he's healthy, you know what you're getting out of him, and this is their number 3 pitcher. This is the best number 3 pitcher in baseball. Yeah. If he's healthy.
Then you go to Garcia, who he's going to have to change his rocking delivery this year. So who knows? He was 15-8 last year, 3.72, 113 whip.
That's
it's good numbers, and he gave up 23 home runs though last year in 157 innings.
Pitchers who challenge will do that.
Yeah. He.
But once we get to their offense, maybe giving up a home run here, there's not the biggest.
Yeah, his swing and pitch, his swing and miss pitch is his cutter and his slider, or curve rather. So then you go to the next guy, Jose. How you say it?
Urquidy.
How you say it?
Urquidy?
Yeah, I think you're right. He's 3.94, 28 starts. He gave up 29 home runs last year. They said right-handed hitters crush him, his fastball, and he's a right-hander.
What do you think about losing someone like Verlander? Because I feel like he's probably a leader, and
I think it's going to hurt him more than they think. It's going to hurt him more than they think. But was it 2 years ago he had the Tommy John, and they won the World Series, but they still won a buttload of games.
They got talent. You can't deny it. Verlander, I think losing someone like him for any regular team, but they've lost Greinke, they've lost Garrett Cole, and now they lost Verlander, and the other two didn't hurt them. They still win. So
they now when McCullers is out, I thought Hunter Brown was going to be the replacement, but he's had 2 spring starts. He's looked bad. His command's not there. But his AAA numbers are really good. So
he played 22 innings last year. Obviously, nothing.
They're good.
0.8. Yeah. 0.8 ERA, and his whip last year was just over 1. So he's. I've seen some highlights of clips in spring training. It looks decent, but like you said, maybe it hasn't clicked yet. But hopefully for his sake, he gets it going for him. But moving on to the bullpen, got to start with Ryan Presley.
Yeah, slider, curve, fastball guy, big fastball.
He didn't pitch much last year though.
Pardon?
So he only pitched 48 innings last year.
But 0.89 whip in the playoffs. He was good. Let's see.
You think his age is going to hurt him?
Pardon me?
You think being 34 is going to hurt him?
Not a closer. And, I read a fact on him. His slider, the last 752 times he's thrown his slider, he's not giving up a home run. Think of that. 50 games last year, 33 saves. So, he's not a problem.
No. Is there anyone in the bullpen you want to touch on before we move into the
Yeah,
players?
Montero,
For field?
96 mile an hour fastball, 91 mile an hour change, uh, 80, 80, what I got, 86 or so slider, and he got 14 saves. So between them, they had 47. You got Brian Abreu, 1.94 ERA, 55 games, 118 whip. Got a really good splitter. You got Hector Neris, who used to be the closer in Philadelphia, didn't handle it too well. Now his whip's 101, which is good. It's 3.77 or 3.72 ERA, 70 games. Good, another splitter guy. And then here's another one
Yep.
that people are overlooking. Ryan Stanek. You know much about him?
No, go
One
ahead. Let's know.
right-handed pitcher again. 1.15 ERA last year. 1.15. 123 whip. That's in 59 games. He walks a little bit batters too many times, but I watched him. He gets results. At least he did last year. But then if they need a left-hander, they're in trouble. They got Blaine Taylor in 19 games, and he's nothing special. So that whole staff's right-handed. That's a couple of teams who went over us
Yep.
like that. But anyway, I still think they're pitching. I know that pitch did this, that, and the other, but I personally expect a little slip this year on their guys.
Yeah, I could definitely see that for sure. But yeah, we'll see. I think this team is built upon their pitching as well as their hitting. They're a very well-rounded team. But moving on to their catcher, I'm saying Martin Maldonado is going to be their starter.
Well, he can't hit. We know that.
He only hit 186 last year. Give him a
He
break,
has a little
man.
bit of pop. He's got a good arm. He's a good handler to staff. So, they got.
I think he's going to have an even farther drop. I think he'd be lucky to hit 150 this year because
hitting.
he's 36 years old. He will be 37 before the season's over. So they need to expect some big things, hopefully from
Yeah, he
Corley.
had 25 home runs last year. He strikes out a bunch, and then they got Diaz, another one behind him. So, yeah, Corey Lee got up there a little bit last year. I think Diaz got up there like 8 at bats. So, and we'll see. And but you go to first base. I want to touch on Abreu, right-handed hitter.
Yeah, well,
I'm sorry.
I'm looking at him. Last year, he had his third best year of his career, and he's getting older. His power based off of WAR. So he had a 4.2 WAR last year. He hasn't had a WAR that high since 2017.
Yeah, but his power went way down.
Yeah, but his average went
way up. 304, only 75 driven in, 378 OPB, but his power.
He plays.
The thought is his power is going to increase in Houston because the wall, the what do they call that over there, left field area? Was it Bush or other? I don't remember now. I've been there. Yeah, I wish they still had that. I've been there. Nice place. But Abreu's got good discipline to plate. That's good too. So his on base percentage, would you think 378 is good?
Take it. That's the second highest he's had in his career.
Right. Moving on to second base, you got superstar. 307 lifetime hitter, 300 hitter.
Is he Hall of Fame? I definitely would say that I'd say Abreu's definitely going to be a future. Altuve, excuse me, is definitely going to be a future Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Already, if he retired today, I think he'd be.
Well, we got an article coming out on that, don't we?
It's already out. Released it today. Watch it. Or yesterday when you were watching this video. It was released yesterday.
Yeah, it's an article about who in the current American League might be a Hall of Famer, potential to have it. But it's see what we said about Abreu and Altuve. But, they're saying the ban on the shift may hurt Altuve because he's nothing special in the field. So I guess that's to be seen, right? He had a 387 on base percentage, higher than Abreu. He had a 6.6 WAR last year.
Abreu's
921 OPS. And no trash cans. And he still hit good.
Should have brought the trash cans instead of hitting him when we started the Astros.
Well, third base, what do you think about Bregman? I'll tell you what I think.
He is.
Would you say?
Go ahead. Tell me what you think first, and I'll give you.
I think he's slightly an underachiever because I expect more out of him. I mean, last year he had 23 homers, nothing special, 259 hitter, but he did have 93 RBIs, 316 or 366 on base, 820 OPS. Those are good numbers. He has a high contact rate, solid defensive player, 983 lifetime fielding percentage. But at third, which
I will say since COVID, sorry to cut you off. Since COVID hit, he hasn't been the same player.
I,
All his numbers.
yeah, I thought he was going to be better than that. You know, it started his career. I mean, I'm not complaining. I'd take him. Not on my favorite team because we get something that I think is much better. But we're not going to get into that. But that's just my thoughts on him. What were you going to say about him?
Yeah. So before COVID, he hit not including his rookie year because he only played 49 games, but 284, 286, 296. His homers from 19, 31, and 41. He's not that anymore. Whatever the reason is, he's not that anymore. One thing he is last year at least, he came through clutch in the playoffs, hitting 300 in the playoffs. That is something that is important for this team as well.
Yeah,
because I feel like it's like this team. You know, you're making the playoffs. Get to the playoffs. If you can fast forward the season, you know that's going to happen. Just get to the playoffs. But
you
I
should
think
be
win
wearing.
recognition for him is more than talent recognition for him right now.
Yeah, you shouldn't wear that hat when we're doing the Astros, dude.
Oh, I ain't gonna put it. I don't have an Astros hat.
I got one somewhere. I've seen several games there.
Sitting here, I need to wipe something to wipe my.
Hey now, respect this good team. Now, what about shortstop Pena, Jeremy? 253, 22 homers as a rookie, 63 RBIs, mainly batted second, 289 on base percentage, batting second, 715 OPS. Yeah, he was a World Series MVP. He strikes out too much. 963 fielding percentage, and
Yep.
he produced in the clutch, so I give him that. But he's no Carlos Correa, and you're gonna have to get more production out of him than 253 and 289 OPB if he's going to bat second.
I don't think you need that much out of him because you got production all over the lineup.
Mm.
Altuve's a superstar hitter. Brady's a good hitter. Bregman's above average hitter. And then wait till we get to this outfield and this next guy we're going to talk about. Who I'm a huge fan.
I want to talk about one more. I guess he's kind of a utility guy. He plays anywhere in the infield, but he's 6'6". He had 20. Can't read my own writing. 20 some home runs in AAA. Or no, about a 298 in AAA. Had a bunch of homers. Plays any infield position plus the outfield. This is David Hensley, solid fielder. I think he's going to be there somewhere. Maybe he can slip in some DH. In Mauricio Dubon, he can play anywhere in the infield. Well, second, short, and outfield. 244 career hitter. So he's utility, right-handed hitter, and
Yep.
But then get it outfield. Where do you want to start?
I'm going to start. The only place you should start with Yordan Alvarez, who is.
I don't think he's going to play much outfield this year. I think he's going to be DH because Brantley's back, and he's certainly taking Kyle Tucker's place.
No, we can still touch on him first though. He's only 25 years old. He will be 26 this year. And last year he hit 306, 37 home runs, and 97 RBIs. He is a 406 on base last year.
Oh, he's a great player, but you know what? He's hurt right now.
Superstar.
He's hurt right now. Hadn't played at all in spring. So,
what are they saying about him? When's he going to be back?
I think he'll be ready, from what I understand. But yeah, he's a great player. I don't think he's an outfielder. I mean, I know he played there. I think they said Dusty wanted him out there, but he
only played 56 games in left
that was
field.
after Brantley got hurt, probably mostly too.
Yeah, and he had 977 fielding percentage out there. But he's all like we already spoke about him in our MVP projection video. Podcast is on Spotify, so make sure to check that one out. But he's an all offense kind of guy. Don't be surprised this year he's going to hit over 300. Probably get 40 home runs and near 100 RBIs.
Right,
so
right. What about he's been hurt a lot in his career. He missed damn near a whole season.
Well, he's still young, so that's gone from the last 2 years. He missed 30 games roughly last year, but he did play 144 the year before. So last 2 years he's been better. But this is something that came out. He only played 2 games in 2020. Did he get hurt there? Or did he opt out?
Hurt. Center field? I guess Chas McCormick is going to get most of the time there.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing here. And then Kyle Tucker right field and Michael Brantley DH. But again, like we think, Michael Brantley and Jordan Alvarez probably going to switch them.
What do you think
Michael
about
Brantley,
McCormick?
well,
245 hitter, decent. He's got a little bit of pop. Strikes out way too much. I think he's an average fielder, but now we got two guys that don't produce. So now we got three: the catcher, the shortstop, and the center field. Then you got Brantley. If he's healthy, he's got absolutely no power. He's a 298 career hitter. He's a great hitter. 795 OPS. Pardon?
on base. He's shown no signs of stopping. Like apart from it, obviously that maybe a little bit dip in production from offense, but he's good.
He's a good player. He's always been a solid hitter, man. But then I want to touch on Kyle Tucker. I love Kyle Tucker, in a baseball
Yeah,
sense.
sure.
257 hitter, hit 30 home runs each of the last 2 years. I mean, he's a damn RBI machine. I mean, when I don't watch him, I check the box scores every day of every team, and you can count on him driving in runs, man. He hit a
Yeah,
808 OPS last year, 356 on base, solid defender. Wait a minute, back up. Solid defender's wrong. Great fielder. He's a Gold Glover last year. He gets better every year, man.
yeah. I know. Looking at some projections here, seeing 30 plus home runs, about a 270 ish average, and we got 23
I think
stolen
his home runs, so
bases.
we can go up more.
Yeah,
And his average
there's
too.
power in that lineup, man. There's power in that lineup.
Yeah, and then that's all I got for the fielders, pretty much that I wanted to touch on that might make it
Yeah,
impact.
well, let's go ahead and look at their farm system. So,
Yeah, where was it
looking
ranked?
at not good, 23rd, so not good. So,
Well,
Hunter Brown's their number one guy. Corey Lee's number four. Corey Lee's going to be up there he's going to be back up this year if not a starter. Hunter Brown's already up there. With Drew Gilbert's your number two guy. He's still in A
yeah,
ball, but he's
center when he
22.
had first round pick last year as outfitter,
He
left-handed,
needs to move.
left-handed bat,
He's
good arm. That's the scouting report I saw on him.
near Diaz
Yeah.
as well as on there. Pedro Leon, Colin
Well,
Barber. So
hold on. When you talk about Diaz, you're going over him way too quick. Okay, the negative defense, from what I gather, is a work in progress. But is his career minor league average 321?
321. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you need a hitter behind, they might ought to bring him up and have Maldonado teach him how to play defense better. You
Yeah.
so
He's a foreign guy. They sent him out of the Dominican Republic, but he's done nothing but hit since he came here. But if he can't get his fielding under control, they're going to have two guys with no positions in the defense, which will not work with Alvarez and him. They can't hit,
well,
can't field,
yeah, yeah.
can't have two. So there's going to be a liability somewhere, and you definitely don't want the liability. It says here he's a catcher or first baseman. Two super important jobs. Corner infield is the most important in the infield, I believe, and then catcher is probably is the most important because he tells the pitcher what to do.
He's the field general, man.
If you're not good defensively, catcher, you can't call a good game. I think that's more of a liability than being a good hitter. So I think he has DH written all over him if you can't improve that.
Yeah.
His arm's ranking actually pretty good.
For Diaz.
He has a good arm.
Well,
That's it. This year, just plus arm strength to keep running game in check. He caught just 148 games through his age 22 season, so his experience shows. But he's on course to become at best an average defender.
well, when you talk about their farm system, my feeling is they get production out of their guys. So they may say they're 23rd, but who's rating? I know results. And I mean, let's go down our lineup. Okay, Altuve, homegrown. Bregman, homegrown. Pena, homegrown. Hensley, homegrown. McCormick's homegrown. Kyle Tucker's homegrown. All Jordan Alvarez. Okay, let's go back to their pitching. Homegrown. Valdez, homegrown. Javier, homegrown. Garcia, homegrown. Urquidy, homegrown. McCullers, homegrown. Hunter Brown, homegrown. Who gets more out of the farm system than these guys? Think about it.
Hopefully, They're building their team like another team that we like.
Exactly. Well, Baltimore just copied their plan. Elias came from there, and
Yeah,
it's almost the same time frame, man. In the fourth year, I mean, it's amazing.
yeah. But yeah. So that's the Astros for our predictions at Brooks News
Well,
Baseball.
you,
We
you
do.
touched on didn't touch on one of the winningest managers in the history of baseball. What do you think of Dusty?
He had talent last year and finally broke through with his talent.
And he should have never got fired in D.C. Yeah, Martinez won, but
That team was talented. Mother, what?
I always thought when Martinez won with Washington, the players just got together on their own. So that's what I thought, because he's only had one winning season, right? I think the first year may have been 500 or 82 and 80 or something there. With all that talent, that's all he won. Because you remember I used to complain about that, and I'm like, why is this
But
guy
Dusty
here?
never won a big game until he goes essentially a super team.
Exactly.
Rightfully so, though. But he's never really won it. I'm talking about Dusty. Dusty's never won anything.
Huh?
Dusty's never won anything until last year.
Yeah, but he's consistently getting a bunch of wins. He's got a ton of wins. I think Dusty's a great manager.
I'm not saying he's bad. Great stretch.
No, I don't think so. He's Hall of Fame manager, man. You watch. Well,
He hasn't been coaching forever.
he wins. How many losing records he ever had? He's from what I gather, he's a player's manager.
I'll say that. And
Definitely
he's a
not.
good manager. I give him that. But with Brooks News Baseball, the projections that we do have the Astros not winning 100 games. But we have them winning 94 games and winning the division. The reason for that, I think the division's more competitive than a lot of people might be looking.
Because
I think the Rangers are going to be good this year. I think the Mariners are going to be competitive. And I think the Angels may be
close to 500.
Close to 500, which the Angels, that's super
I studied
good.
them today quite a bit. I did a lot of research on them. And
I feel bad if you're an A's fan, though, because you're going to get the hell
I
beat
do
out
like
of you
the
all
A's
year.
a lot. When I say I like this, there's no major league team except one that I don't like, that I despise. But other than that, and that's mainly because they're fans. But other than that, I don't, like right now I got the Astros and the Mets on. I'll watch anybody. And this is a spring training game. I mean, who at this, as late as it is, people don't need to know how late we're up, but I'm still watching a rerun of a game that was our first time it's shown, but from earlier today, because I just like baseball,
Yeah.
I love baseball.
Well,
I love spring training baseball, but
going back to the records, 94 and 68 is what we have the Astros with this year, clinching the number one overall seed once again. With that number one seed, obviously they have the bye, and we have a battle of Texas in the ALDS, where we surprisingly, and I shouldn't wear this hat for saying this, but we have the Texas Rangers taking them down on their way through the playoffs. And once we talk about the Rangers, we will talk why. Before you make that face,
I'm making it.
Okay, Framber Valdez versus Jacob deGrom. Who would you put your money on?
Well, I'd put it on Valdez because deGrom would probably be hurt. His track record says I'll be hurt. I mean, you read my article today about the Hall of Fame and look at his stats. I mean, dude's made 208 starts, I think, in his career.
It's hard to take into account health when writing these projections. However, team for team, I think they're very evenly matched. I do. But I think the upfront star power that the Rangers have will push them over the edges.
Well, we can go over that later. We'll go position by position. I'll argue with you. I mean, I hope the Rangers do good. Trust me, because they used to be in Washington and all many, many moons ago. But they were the Senators, man.
I know that, but what does that have to do with it?
Because when I lived in Washington, the Senators were there. Okay. And then
I'll be going to Rangers in a little over a month.
Yeah, well. So. But anyway, we'll argue about that later. But
yeah, well, that's all with the Astros. Let's wrap it up here. We're kind of rambling at the end here. People probably turning it off and missing the end of the message.
No, they like what I say. They, there's probably debate on there about, your Rangers.
Comment on this video and let us know
why he's wrong on the Rangers. Everybody, that's what I want to know. Why is he wrong on the Rangers?
I will debate you, but it'll probably lead to me being dragged away in handcuffs. So, without further ado, let's shut her down. But yeah, that's the 30 breakdowns in 30 days with the Houston Astros. Come back to tomorrow, where we are going to be doing. Who are we doing tomorrow?
Angels.
Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. And then after them, we'll be doing the Texas Rangers. which I'm excited to do.
No,
So
we're doing Oakland next. Doing them alphabetical order division is what we've been doing. Sorry. Hey, I like Oakland, man.
yeah, well, you like losers.
Well, hey, I like baseball. But we ready to wrap up?
Man, but all right, just give us a sign off. Let's get it going.
All right, you got to help me. That's all for now, folks. See you next time on Brooks Knows Baseball.
Good night.
Good night, John Boy.